Hello friends, welcome to another session of Brown's Cafe. Today I'm meeting Lata and it's an outdoor session. The temperature right now is 6 degrees Celsius. I'm very excited, so let's go. So guys, I've just arrived here in Lata's house and that's her house. So here I am, going out. It's a beautiful house. Welcome viewers to another session of Brown's Cafe community, and today we have a very special guest with her. She is no other than Lata. Lata, welcome so much. Welcome to Brown's Cafe. We are so excited to have this session with you. It's been a long time coming. I know how much I have been looking forward to it. So welcome again to Brown's Cafe community.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure is all ours. So Lata, I'll start right from the start, and could you share with our audience and viewers your growing up experience being a person of color and growing up in Northern Ireland? How was the experience and some of the...
Okay, well, the experience is like with anything in life, you basically adapt to where you grew up, right? But my parents came to Northern Ireland in the 1950s, late 1950s. They came here. Dad, like many immigrants at the time, came to with work, and he was quite adventurous, and he wanted to try new places, go and see new places. So how I ended up in Northern Ireland was, you know, quite a journey to come to somewhere so big, from somewhere so big like India to somewhere so tiny like like Ireland, and he ended up living in Northern Ireland. Two of my sisters came with my parents at that time, and then four of us were born here. So I have never known anything else except Northern Ireland as my home. And as you can tell from my accent and my mannerisms, I'm pretty much a Northern Irish person. Okay,
Absolutely.
I'm very proud of my Indian heritage, but you know, yeah, no, I feel very, very proud to have Indian heritage. I also feel very lucky to have Indian heritage as well, because of the vast cultural experience that it gives me too. But so growing up and being born and raised in Northern Ireland has been a tremendous experience for my identity of who I am today. It's helped me form lots of opinions and feelings about culture, about the importance of culture, about the importance of identity, but also the importance of what this society has given me as a woman, with the freedoms of expression, freedoms of speech, all those advantages that I have grown up with, that I know many of my family who would be, you know, from other parts of it wouldn't necessarily have had the luxury to have had at that time. So, but of course, everybody comes down to Northern Ireland and the Troubles and how that experience affected our community. And I would say that my father's generation were extremely wise in how they managed to integrate within this community. They were very compassionate. My father certainly always expressed a great sense of compassion for the fighting on both sides of the divide here, and he was always very sympathetic. But also his generation were wise enough to keep out of that part of a very deep emotional historical argument. And I think that's how we were able to integrate quite well with communities from both sides of the divide. I would say my father fell in love with the people of Northern Ireland, not with the nationalist side or the unionist side or the Republican side or the loyalist side. He saw them as one people who had certain differences, but he loved them collectively for their sense of humor, their warmth, and their willingness to embrace him. And that was a very important part of how we were raised, is to appreciate the identities of the people that we have been born and raised amongst. So the experience was, to be honest, very positive. Did we have certain issues? Absolutely. You know, you're always going to have people in every community from every race who will not be particularly nice about another person's identity or excuse me, or their race. But that's just human beings. You know, we have to accept that some human beings are like that. But overall, I had a great experience in school. My teachers were wonderful. I think I was lucky in that when I went to primary school, my parents being very open-minded, I was able to participate in everything that the school did when it came to times of worship, when they needed people to sing. I love singing. So I was able to do the solos, you know, for their Christmas carol services, for plays. They never made me feel like just because I came from a Hindu background that I couldn't participate. And I was never made to feel that I shouldn't participate by my parents either. So it was a really good mutual respect with each other. And I really loved that, because it made me very proud to be part of such a beautiful array of different identities. So it was a very positive experience. Negativity is always there, and I had very strong parents and very strong older siblings. And I would say to anybody who's come to Northern Ireland since the Good Friday Agreement was signed, that this is a very complex situation here, and how we integrate and how you integrate is to embrace the identities of all the people here, respect the identities of all the people here. And also, I think it's important to participate in not the politics, because in politics here in Northern Ireland, everything is very much, well, if you go for this party, you're obviously anti this. And if you go for that party, you're obviously anti that. It's very, you know, that's what the politics here has unfortunately fallen into. And that makes it difficult for people like me to ever get involved in politics here. If we're going to get involved as somebody from an ethnic community heritage, I see my place more to be a person who helps to bring the two communities together, rather than
Absolutely.
be someone who is going to pick a side, because the politics is very much entrenched in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if we compare the local politics and the scenarios with the world over, it's pretty unique in the sense, as you said, it's all about the identity rather than policies. So in that way, NI is unique, I would say, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
But I still feel that, people like you can bring about so much good and so much goodness to the people and the society at large, more so because of who you are, because you don't belong to this side or that side.
No.
And you genuinely want to bring that good to the society, so I think you should go for it.
I like to participate in the society, in that I like to do it through the arts, for example. I like to do it through volunteering. I participate in volunteering my time and energy to going into schools, working for Good Relations in in the Ards and North Down Borough Council, where I chair an intercultural forum. And I like to do it in ways where I put myself in places where people like me wouldn't necessarily go. So it's important to put your face in those places where people in general, in the general community, are interested. So I like to partake in volunteering for historical sites here. We have the National Trust. So I would have partaken in volunteering for that, because again, I think it's important, as someone who's born and raised here from my heritage, I love history. I love how this country has evolved to the stage it has, and it's important to recognize how much this society has progressed you know, how we've established women's rights, how we've established gay rights, how we've established, you know, rights for the disabled. There's so many rights and care. It's a very caring society. And I think sometimes what we get complacent about is we forget that we are so progressive, if you know what I mean, for here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like to, I've been very lucky in that my father encouraged me to sing as a child. So I was able to participate in, from the age of about 10, 11 years old, I started going to, you know, I started going to Irish folk festivals and classical folk festivals, and you know, this little brown girl singing Irish folk festivals at these festivals was very unusual back then. You know, like traditional Irish music, and this little Indian girl standing there is you know, singing it unaccompanied, and it was a great way for, when I look back, I was able to recognize how important that was, because what it did was it made initially the shock for the people who were regularly going to these events with their children, but it also then made them aware that I and my father and my family were reaching out to integrate with them, show respect to their traditions, their cultural, you know, art. My father's principle was, it's a two-way street. We have to reach out to the people we come to settle amongst. We can't just expect them to do all the work. I'm very engaged in my sense of helping the people who've come to Northern Ireland since the Good Friday Agreement, and helping them to understand the brilliance of what Northern Irish people are, you know, and how
that is so important.
Yeah, it's extremely important for, you know, I'm married to a local guy, and you know, I was the first Indian person he'd ever seen, never mind marry, right? So, you know, that was quite an experience for him.
I'm sure.
And he had to learn to adapt and understand things about what my parents expected from me and from him, and from us as a couple. I want people to really understand how fantastic the people here are, and the negative sides of the communities from both sides who are, you know, resentful of the past and the history, is not something to judge the entire community of Northern Ireland on, because they're so much more than that. You know, they're very warm, very loving, very funny, very funny people, you know, cheeky, you know, great sense of humor, and they're very, you know, like any community from any ethnicity or culture, proud people.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's universal. I mean, as you said, there are some people who are not so good, but then you find those kind of people in every community all over the world. So there's nothing new in that. We can't judge a whole society or a whole community based on those few people, you know. You have them everywhere.
Amen to that. That is very true. And
it's always about the person, I would say, whether you belong to this community or that, all over the world, anywhere you go, it's always about the person. And I mean, I was listening to your story, and your parents sound like such wise people. Falling in love with them. I wish I could meet them as well. But
do you know what? They were fantastic. But I have to say again, my father's generation were very, very wise people. You know, they had a wisdom about, you know, considering what they had come from, you know, after partition and growing up during the times of British colonialism. I'm so glad that my parents chose here. I mean, I still think the weather's wick, but hey, everybody thinks that. You know, we all think the weather's wick, but it's not green for nothing. I mean, it wouldn't be this green if we didn't have the weather we had. So it's called the Emerald Isle for, you know, because it's a beautiful, lush, green sort of island. But the people are fantastic, and my
Absolutely.
husband's sense of humor is just ridiculously bad.
Lata, I was just reading about you, and you have a fascinating career in media, and I guess you were one of the trailblazers, blazers coming from the ethnic minority background. So tell us a bit about that.
Um, well, that's very nice of you to say. So I don't really look at it like that. But in one sense, I suppose, yes, being the first, Indian girl who I was very lucky coming, again, I have to put it down to the credit of my father in particular, is his support of me entering the arts, becoming an actress and becoming a singer and joining a band. At 17, I was able to join a pop band and sing in clubs. I mean, this was like just disgraceful. It was really like not, we need you to get a job in a bank, and we need you to work and get a degree. And my dad was like, no, my daughter can sing. I'm going to send her this way. And she's going to go to the stage, and she's going to be a performer. And he loved all of that, and he supported me through it. Now, that was the thing. So I had the support to do all that. So I was able to enter into first as into acting. Then I was able to, I was singing before the acting actually. And then, singing in rock bands. And that's how I met my husband actually. He joined a band I was singing in a year later. And we've been together for like 34 years now. Well, I wouldn't go, ooh. It wasn't always, ooh. It was sometimes, they do your head in sometimes. But, it's like this. Up trying to put myself up for television presenting work. And I got a little bit of work in London. I then came home. I got a little bit of work here in the commercial station. And I wasn't really moving forward in any way. And then I got an opportunity to audition for a BBC Northern Ireland programme called The Back Page, which was a sports magazine programme. And there was Edward Smith and Terry Smith were the two people who gave me that job. And as I said to other people before, I don't think they gave me that job because I was of an ethnic background all those years ago. That might have been a plus for them, but I still had to be good at the presenting
Absolutely.
job. Gave me the job as a reporter for them, where I went around different parts of Northern Ireland, partaking in sports that maybe women were doing, or something unusual was going on in the sports world here. And women's rugby, women's football, water polo, and if anybody knows me, I am the most unsporty person ever.
Is it?
I hate fresh air. I hate exercise. But I wanted this job. So when you want a job, you just take it on the chin and go, yes, I can do that. Yes, I will. I love it. But inside, I was like,
oh my God.
Can somebody just give me a nice warm studio job? Where I can just dress nice and but it was fantastic because I got to learn how to work with a cameraman. I got to learn how to edit. I got to learn how to write my own scripts. I got to learn how to work with looking at stuff and being able to piece everything together. And the pay was awful, but you know what, it is what it is. You want something, you got to start from the bottom. You can't expect in any situation to get a seat at the table just because you think you've got it all. You can't do that. So you got it from that experience, which I'll always be grateful for. Was I started to send my show reels around to different companies and across the water, and I used to just hope one of them would land at the right person, and I ended up. It landed on the desk of a lady called Jane Lush, who was in BBC in London. And I got my first really, really exciting gig, a call of the holiday programme, which was like huge program at the time, massive show. And I got to travel around the world, you know, to report on holiday destinations from around the world. So, you know, America and places in
Wow.
Europe, you know, and I would never have gone to those places. I would never have had that experience, you know, as a regular person. Even at that time in the UK media, we had great ethnic representatives. I mean, Trevor McDonald, Sir Trevor McDonald is one of them, of course, but we had Zina Badawi, we had Krishna Gurumurthy, we had loads of different people from our community. Not loads, I mean, that's exaggeration, but you know what I mean. I had faces that I recognized and could relate to. In certain aspects of the media, and it was exciting to sort of be part of that. But I didn't want to be part of it just because I was an ethnic person. I just genuinely loved the media, and I had children. Oh, and then I did radio too as well. I got an opportunity to work on a national radio station for a bit, for a few seasons, and again it was something that I had to just learn. But then I can talk, which you've probably gathered. So, because I can talk, it's never really a problem. And I think that was the time then I decided to have children, because I wanted to start a family. And at that time, when you were pregnant, women never really were on screen when they were pregnant. That was the time that it was not the done thing.
Yeah, it was the same everywhere.
Yes. Now it has changed, and well, for the last so many years. I mean, my eldest daughter is going to be 23, and I think shortly, like literally within 2 years of her being born, that started to change. And you did see pregnant women on TV. But I thought, well, you know, I'm pregnant. I'll use the opportunity to be behind a mic on radio to start having my family, and that's what I did, and that was a great experience as well. And then it got more difficult with children. It got more difficult, so I had to sort of step back and raise my babies, of which I have 3, and you know,
that's so lovely.
It is. You know, I don't regret the fact that I stepped back. You know, I respect any woman who has to do what she, you know, needs to do in order to support her family, whether that's staying at home, whether that's going to work. You know, it is what it is. Your circumstances, you have to work with what you've got.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. Lata, you have such a great attitude and such an exciting story to back it up as well. I mean, I really appreciate that, you know, you went out there, gave your 100% to your media career, and when it was time, you know, you dedicated yourself to your family. It's absolutely marvelous what you have done. So in light of all that, and for especially the kids growing up here who come from the ethnic background, what will be your one advice to them?
Get involved in the community, be a force for good in bringing the communities who have suffered here together. Be an individual, and you can have opinions, and you can express those opinions, and you should be able to express those opinions without fear, because we all have a right to have an opinion. But we also have a right to hear someone else's opinion and be respectful of them. They may disagree with me, they might completely hate my opinion, but I like all of that about our society. I like all of all the things this community has to offer, regardless of where it came from. It's where it is today that I value, the reason why I live here.
Absolutely.
I value that.
Absolutely, that's a great advice. I'm sure there are a lot of takeaways for our viewers who are younger. That brings us to the last part of our session. I just want to run you very quickly through some rapid fire questions, and you don't really have time to think, so just whatever comes to your mind straight off.
Okay.
So my first question to you, Lata, is okay, outdoors or indoors? I think I know that.
Do you know what? Interestingly enough, since lockdown, outdoors has become more appealing because I'm sick
Yay!
of being indoors.
That's good, good, good. So my second one is a cat or a dog?
Oh, dog. Oh, I have a dog. We have a miniature schnauzer is my favorite. So but this is another thing. This community, these people we are big into our dogs. We love pets.
Perfect.
So, so yes, that's another thing, absolutely. And I've grown up with, my father was big into pets too.
Perfect. So, and the next one is beach or mountains for holidays?
Beach.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I love it as well. And we are in NI. How do we not love beaches?
I know, I love beaches. Yeah.
Yeah, and
definitely not mountains.
Sorry.
Definitely
so after the lockdown, what do you think? Which is the place where you'll go for holidays? Your first holidays after lockdown?
Gosh, where would I go for holiday? To be honest with you,
Or where you want to go?
I would love to go to Japan.
Oh, perfect. My daughter
I've
wants to
always
go
been
there.
fascinated by Japan. Really interesting place.
Okay, and who is your favorite singer from 1980s?
Oh my gosh, I have too many. Diana Ross, Donna Summer, Aretha Franklin, Tina Turner, Barbara Streisand, Judy Garland, Doris Day. Oh my gosh, there's just too many. I can't even tell you how many women who are my favorite. I mean, bands like Heart, Fleetwood Mac. It's just like there's just, because I love music and I love all genres of music. I don't have one. I literally can't have one. There's just way too many to sort of say. But
that's very relatable, I would say.
Yeah.
And
of course, the one person that from our sort of our identity that really was very much part of my childhood, Lata Mangeshkar.
I was going to go there, in fact. So you are aware of the Indian, what do you call, film industry, right? We call it Bollywood. Yes. So who is your favorite actor?
Well, Zenith Aman and Parveen Babi and Helen were the people that I would have seen growing up. Hima Mali, all of those women were fantastic, real women. They were gorgeous and they were feminine, but they were sassy and they were brilliant actresses. Today it's difficult because I don't really watch a lot of Bollywood movies, but I see more Indian actresses breaking into European market. And I think one of the first ones, early ones to do that would have been Aishwarya Rai. Yeah. She would have been one of the first to have done that. And she is, blindingly drop dead gorgeous. So one of the funny things I do remember growing up, and if we got a movie sent over to here to watch, we used to laugh as kids because, every time the phone rang in those 1970s, early 80s movies, they shouted on the phone. They wouldn't just go, hello, how are you? They go, hello, huh? And you just go, and then I used to sit and watch my parents and I've gone, oh my God, they do that. They actually do that in real life. This is not just acting. So that's one of the funny things I remember growing up and listening.
Thank you, Lata. Thank you very much for this session and giving us the time and speaking with us. I have had a wonderful time. Loved speaking to you, and especially your mom and dad. Sounds like very wise and great people. I'm fallen in love with them. Wish I could meet them, but well.
Oh, thank you very much, Ritu, and thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
And for all our viewers, if you like the session, please like, subscribe and share, and do leave us your feedback because that helps us to move forward and improve anything that you don't like. So thank you very much and have a good life, viewers.